Hello, this is Peter with another video. Today I thought we'd have a closer look at some of my fig trees, which have some brebas on them. I thought I'd start off with my in-ground brown turkey fig tree, which is absolutely covered in brebas this year. It only had a handful last year, and I think some of them dropped off and we ended up with 2 ripening. But this year it's got dozens of figs on it. Pretty much every branch has brebas on it. Now actually I don't think these have really grown that much over the last month or so. Some of them don't seem a bad size, but some are quite small. I think it could do with thinning. I'm not going to thin it myself just yet because it has dropped a few off over the last week or so. But I think the main reason this hasn't grown, or at least the figs haven't developed that much over the last month or so, is because of how dry it's been. It's not rained here for weeks, although they are now saying, at least the forecast is predicting, it's going to rain this weekend, and most of next week I believe also it might be raining as well, so that should help get some of these figs to develop a bit more. It would be good if we had this kind of weather when the figs were actually ripening up later in the summer, but yeah, usually that doesn't happen. Usually end up getting a lot of rain over summer, but I'll keep my fingers crossed. But yeah, they're doing pretty well, a bit slower than they were doing when they first started developing. And again, it could be mostly due to the lack of water. I have been watering the plant a fair bit with the hose pipe, but yeah, I don't think I've been giving it quite enough. And also probably because there's just so many brebas on it this year, which is probably causing it to channel too much energy into lots of fruits. It's been in the ground for a couple of years now, I think, so it won't have the biggest root system in the world, so I don't know if it can actually support this many fruits. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on it, and if none of them seem to be dropping off, I'll just start removing some of the smaller ones and leave the larger ones. So yeah, I'll show you some of my other figs that are developing on a few other trees as well. There is one on this fig tree here, which I think is a Desert King. Yeah, this was a Desert King that I rooted last year. It's not really grown. It suffered some mould issues in the greenhouse over winter, and I think I moved it out and it ended up dying back. It's not pushed out much growth yet, but it has been developing this fig. Don't know if I'll leave it or if it'll probably end up dropping off on its own anyway. There's another one here on this other tree. I think this was a long doot, or supposed to be a long doot. Yeah, this one was meant to be long doot. I think, if I remember right, this actually turned out that it might be a different variety. But yeah, that one's shriveled up anyway, so that's not going to do anything. But I've got a few more on the patio, which are looking quite promising. So yeah, I'll just quickly show them. Okay, so the goot door, which had a few brebas on it, have all dropped off, unfortunately, which happens every single year with this plant. Again, I don't know if it's just because it's in a pot and it dries out too quickly and that's the reason, or maybe it just doesn't produce brebas. I know some varieties of fig start developing brebas and then they always drop off and they'll never set. So I don't know if that's the case with this variety or not. Now over here there is, see, a breba here, which is similar size to the brown turkey having ground, and also a very similar shape and size. Now interestingly, this is meant to be, I believe it's supposed to be a Violet de Bordeaux, but looking at the leaves, it doesn't look like Violet de Bordeaux from what I've seen. It looks just like brown turkey to me. So I probably ended up with a mislabeled fig here, probably another brown turkey. But we'll see what that fig does, if it holds on or not. And we'll hopefully get to compare it to the brown turkey I've got in ground. Then over here we have another Violet de Bordeaux. This was, or at least meant to be, this was a root sucker from that other plant I just featured, and this also has a fig on it, although it has started to hang down a bit, so I don't know if that's going to drop off at some point. But it has been getting a bit bigger, so we'll see if that manages to develop. It's in a very small pot, needs repotting, but yeah, we'll see what happens with that. So this is actually a fig tree I recently got over winter. It needs repotting, as you can see. It's in a very small pot. I've got one breba there. It doesn't look too good. It's obviously going to fail and fall off. But it has one here, which is doing quite well. A little bit smaller than some of my others, on the brown turkey for example, but yeah, it's definitely a different leaf shape to brown turkey. This one is meant to be Bordeaux Gris. Yeah, Bordeaux Gris. So we'll see if this develops later in the year. I'll probably get this repotted soon as well. Not keen on these pots, and also dry out super fast, especially with the dry weather we've been having. So I've had to keep my eye on this and give it plenty of water. Then next I have another Desert King. This one I've had a bit longer. It's actually grown quite well. Pushed out all this growth here. This here's put out quite a bit of growth. I repotted it a few weeks ago. It's this bigger pot. It was in quite a small container before. But yeah, it does have one Desert King breba on there. So yeah, I think I've had this since 2022. Yeah. So I've had it a few years now, but I've always kept it in a small pot. It's not really done much. So I'm hoping after repotting it will help develop a bit better. Now, Desert King is a San Pedro variety of fig, which means that the brebas are the only ones that will actually ripen in our climate, because we don't have the fig wasp. You need the fig wasp for the main crop to develop. So if any main crops start forming on this tree, I'll just pull them off because they're not going to do anything. Although I have heard instances of main crops actually managing to set and hold in some climates. I think on the west coast of the US occasionally, which has a relatively similar climate to Western Europe, I believe. But yeah, hopefully we'll get to try a Desert King this year, because I would like to try a couple of different varieties. I'm not convinced the Violet de Bordeaux are actually different. I think they're actually just brown turkey, but we'll see. There might be one or two other figs I've missed on some of the other plants, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see if any of them hold on and develop. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this update on some of my fig trees and some of the figs that are developing. As I said, I've got lots of other fig trees, but most of them are not big enough to fruit yet, or don't have any brebas this year. I probably need to get most of them repotted, to be honest. And some of them will only produce main crop, which means I'll have to grow them in a greenhouse if I want to ever have a chance of getting figs off them in my climate. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this update. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell, and I'll definitely keep you up to date on how my figs do this year. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.